Hey guys, I'm Natalie,
And I'm Raphael.
and today we're gonna be making a video of our travels in South America.
Last year we traveled around 6 months in South America, and today we wanted to break down our financials of this trip because a lot of people had asked us how much we spent on this trip, if it was expensive, all this stuff. And today we wanted to show you guys.
So let's get into it. So we're gonna start with the total, which was $11,500 together, which is about $5,750 each, which isn't bad for 6 months in South America. And as for the countries we visited,
We went to Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay.
yeah, and roughly we spent 6 months. Like as we said, we have the breakdown. Colombia we spent 30 days, Ecuador 27, Peru 38, Chile 32, Argentina 34, and 10 days for Uruguay.
As we already mentioned, we spent around $11,500 on this trip. And this is how much we spent. How much you're gonna spend is gonna be different probably, because it depends how you travel. We travel together, and if you travel as a couple or in a group, usually it's cheaper as if you're traveling alone. And it also depends what you do, what you spend on, where you stay, all this stuff,
What you like.
what you like, where you go. It's different for everyone. Just that we travel together, we mostly stayed in private rooms. We never stayed in a hostel where we
Had to sleep separately or anything like that.
yes.
And also when it came to let's say food, we didn't eat out a lot. We tried to cook at home as much as we could. At least when we looked for Airbnbs, we tried to look for Airbnbs that had kitchens, so we could cook at home. Just sometimes it was cheaper. But then there was countries like Peru where food was cheap and we ate out.
Yes, we ate out almost every day, I think, in Peru.
Peru, yeah.
Our biggest expenses were accommodation. We spent around $4,100 on accommodation for both of us for these 6 months. Most of these were Airbnbs. Some were like hostels, but always a private room. Some were hotels, and some, we also have to say, were actually free. In some hotels you got to stay for free because we would take photos or videos for them in exchange for staying there for free.
And for accommodation, like we said, we decided on Airbnbs. Like we had kitchens and stuff like that. But there's people who maybe could stay cheaply in a hostel. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend this much on accommodation, but we decided on this for our travels, that we did not want to share a room, or that we did not want to sleep in hostels separately and stuff like this. So the next thing, the second biggest expense, was transportation. Now for transportation, we did $3,400, which is our second biggest expense. But we have to mention too that this does not include our flights to and from to South America, because I feel like it's going to be different for everyone. For example, we flew in from Mexico because before we started this trip, we went to visit my family in Mexico. So depends where you start from, what season it is. There's a lot that goes into it. This does not include that. And the same thing for coming back. I don't know where you want to end your trip or anything of that sort, but we ended our trip in Argentina and we flew back to Miami. But again, could be different for you. But in total, we spent $3,400.
Yes, and during our trip we pretty much always went on bus. We took an airplane once.
And that was only for emergency.
And it was for an emergency that we had to leave Cusco in Peru. So we took an airplane, but everything else
Just land.
we traveled on bus or boats.
Yeah, boats, tuk-tuks, combis, you name it. Everything but land. We try to avoid air transportation as much as we could. Like I said, the only time we did was to leave the country and in an emergency because we had to leave. But besides that, that's how much we spent. Next, our third biggest expense was food, $2,900.
Yes, this includes everything like groceries that we bought to cook ourselves, and also eating out, which, like we said, did mostly in Peru, Colombia too. Everything pretty much before Chile, we mostly ate out, and after Chile, we mostly cooked. But even when eating out, we try to look for cheaper places where there's a lot of locals, maybe like a market or something like that, or street food.
Yeah.
These are all good places where you can get good food and cheap food.
Yeah, we didn't go like to, yeah, we splurged a little at the end, like to say our goodbye dinner and stuff like that, but we try to avoid splurging on eating out, and we only went out only occasionally, but mostly cooked at home, which was nice too. Our fourth biggest expense was entertainment. We had $630 down for that, and this included,
We had there like entrances to national parks, tours were like necessary, movie tickets, we went to the movies once or twice, all that stuff where you pay like an entrance, a museum, stuff like that. And our last expenses were just a bunch of random things. We spent $430 on random things, and
well, they weren't too random, but stuff we needed, like haircuts or laundry, or what we did a lot also was send postcards back home. So I'm a big souvenir person. If you're a big souvenir person, you understand this. I wanted to buy souvenir everywhere I went, but I also kept in mind that I had this tiny backpack and I could not carry these souvenirs across the country with me. So I avoided souvenirs, so that brought down my budget, but we still bought postcards, so that's included in this random expense. So in total was $430 for that. Now for this trip, we try to stick to a daily budget, so not to limit ourselves, but to know we were gonna have enough money for the next country. And our budget was set at $80, $40 per person, and we almost never went over it.
We went over it a couple times, but we also stayed under it a lot. Sometimes.
Yeah, and yeah, we rarely went over budget. And another budget we had like set, well, not set, but we tried to stay at, was the accommodation goal was $30 together. So we tried to find an accommodation that was $30 or less. And yeah.
And this was possible almost everywhere except maybe Argentina and Uruguay. That were definitely more expensive, these countries.
Yeah. And also another thing that could change your price is the season you go. For example, for Argentina, we went in off season, which made it very easy for us to find stuff and find rentals and stuff. I'm not saying it's going to be difficult when you go peak season, but maybe you'd have to call beforehand or figure that out beforehand. But yeah, we went off season, so some stuff was cheaper and easier. As for currency exchange, it's different for every country, obviously, but we try to stick to using our Charles Schwab card. Well, my Charles Schwab card.
Yes, this is getting a good card that doesn't charge you a lot of fees abroad. It's essential, I would say, to a trip like this, because you want to take out cash as you go. Go to different countries that use different currencies. And we try to avoid to carry too much cash on us. If you carry too much cash, it can be stolen and stuff like that. So we try to not have too much on us. We just always go to ATMs and withdraw money from our bank accounts.
Yeah, but there's like Argentina and Uruguay where you could use credit card. Well, Uruguay even wanted you to use credit card. They have like special discounts if you use your credit card to pay and stuff like that. But most countries it was cash, especially if you're going to like small markets and stuff. They're not gonna have somewhere for you to swipe your credit card. But yeah, we try to use that.
So this was a quick little overview about our spending in South America. If you have any other questions, like how much we spent by country or stuff like that, let us know in the comments below, and maybe we can make another video about this in the future.
Yeah, hopefully we don't take too long. I know this video took a while.
It took a year, but
year.
it's okay.
But we got to it, and we finally told you guys how much we spent. It was like nothing secret. We were just procrastinating it a lot, but yeah, that's how much you spent. Let us know if you have any more questions.
Let us know.
Bye.
Bye.